everyone, I'm Dr. Hansen. I'm a psychologist and I'm a mother of 2 children, one of whom has autism spectrum disorder. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what to do once you receive the diagnosis, whether it be of autism or of another developmental disorder, and how you can process those emotions and steps that you can take to help your child. And so when Olivia was first diagnosed, I remember feeling completely hopeless. I felt devastated. I felt that all the dreams that I had for her of going to college, of having a career, of getting married, all these things, I thought that all those dreams were just out the window. I thought that there was no hope for her, and I felt really confused and overwhelmed. I also felt a little bit of relief because I knew, especially as a psychologist, and I'm a former ABA therapist, that she had autism. So I felt a little relief to hear someone else say that when I got to that point in the process. But at the same time, it almost doesn't make sense, but at the same time, I felt such dread. I felt like I was really hopeful that I would share my thoughts with someone about my concerns and they would say that I was crazy and of course she's neurotypical and nothing's wrong, but that is not what ended up happening. So there were a lot of emotions that went into it, and I just want to speak to you about whatever you may be going through. There is hope for your child. You feel hopeless, you feel like the future is hopeless, but there is so much hope for your child. There are tons of therapy options now, resources, great books. There's a lot available to you and to your family. And you're doing a great job. You're researching everything that you need to research, and you're seeking information, and that is excellent and very helpful to your child and to your child's future. So here are 8 steps of what you can do once your child is diagnosed. The first step is, if your child was diagnosed by a pediatrician, make an appointment with a neurologist. Even better is to make an appointment with several neurologists to get as many opinions as possible. Every doctor that you see will have a different background, a different scope of knowledge, different resources that they may be able to offer you and tell you about. So my husband and I always believe that the more information, the better. So see a lot of professionals if you can, and if this is available to you. If you got your diagnosis from a neurologist, seek a second opinion. Go to another neurologist. Now, don't panic when they tell you that appointments are 6 months out. That's very common for neurologists, especially here I live in South Florida. And if I make an appointment today, I won't see a neurologist for my child for at least 6 months, possibly 9 months. That's okay. Still make those appointments with as many neurologists as possible, covered by your insurance or however you're going to go through that process. And sometimes there are cancellations. One time I was going to see a neurologist for my son who struggles with some sensory integration issues, and the next appointment was not for 7 months, and by some miracle there was a cancellation and we actually saw the neurologist 3 days later. So you never know. Make those appointments, get as many opinions and insights as you possibly can. The second step is to check with your state to see what resources are available to you. So I live in Florida, and in Florida we have 2 programs. We have Early Steps, and that's for children under 3 years old, and we have Child Find for kids who are 3 and over. Child Find works with the public school systems to provide different types of therapy, social skills, and that sort of thing. And Early Steps is when the therapists actually come into the home to help families of children who are having these challenges. There's an assessment process, and there are a lot of steps before that. But that can be extremely helpful, and it's not income contingent. So anyone qualifies regardless of income, as long as the children are going through these challenges and they've gone through all those assessment procedures that are required for the state. So check in your state to see what's available. The third step is to find out what your insurance covers and see if your insurance is appropriate for your current needs. So the insurance that you needed pre-diagnosis may be different than the insurance you need now. Check with your insurance company to see if speech therapy, occupational therapy, perhaps feeding therapy, applied behavior analysis, which is ABA therapy, whatever is required for your child and whatever has been recommended by the pediatrician and by those neurologists, and whatever you feel in your gut your child needs, make sure that's covered by insurance, and if not, explore your insurance options. You may want to switch plans to something that will cover what is necessary for your child, because many of these therapies are long-term. So check into that and make sure that you have the best insurance package for your family for this current need. The fifth step is to start private therapy immediately if you can. Once you've figured out all the insurance stuff, start private therapy if possible. If therapy is not available in your area because there are wait lists, which can happen especially with ABA and occupational therapy, speech therapy usually you can get right in, get on waiting lists, and get on waiting lists in multiple facilities. It may be that you need to drive 30-45 minutes to therapy that's open now, and then as something comes open closer to your home, you can do that. But get on all the waiting lists, and then whoever is a great therapist and first available, your child will have access to that, because early intervention is critically important. The earlier you can get your child into these therapies, the better the outcome typically. So make sure that you get on those waiting lists if you can. Even if you did go through the state, let's say you're in Florida and you've gone through the state and now you have the Child Find program because your child is 3 or over and your child goes to public school for that and they're getting speech and OT, I still recommend private therapy in addition to whatever the state program is. Even though the state programs can be great, sometimes they're not, or sometimes your child just needs a little bit more. And the more the better at this stage if you're able to do that and if your insurance covers it. If you're not able to do that, that's fine, and in future videos we're actually going to talk about how you can be your child's speech therapist, OT, ABA therapist, because there's a lot of strategies that you can learn on your own that will help you if you can't go that route. But if you can, I recommend private therapy as soon as possible. The fifth step is to reach out to nearby universities to see what services and support options they have available to you. So our closest university is Florida Atlantic University, and they have a lot of options available to us. They have constantly classes, conferences that are free to the community. They have programs for our kiddos, social skills groups, teen support groups, all kinds of stuff. So whatever your university is that's closest to your home, if they have a psychology program, then most likely they have something available to children of special needs, because they're training their students to go into these fields sometimes. So check it out and you may be surprised at what is available to you. The sixth step is to order books either from the library or Amazon, wherever you purchase books on the topic. So if your child was diagnosed with autism, read everything you can get your hands on about autism, because you'll feel a lot better, you'll feel a lot more in control once you have as much knowledge as possible. And I highly recommend the book Overcoming Autism by Lynn Cagle. This is an excellent book. As you can see, I've read it many times. It's very marked up here. I've got a lot of highlighted passages. This is a really good one to start with because it provides a lot of hope. And that's what we want. We want hope because our children have hope and they have our help. So learn everything you can about autism. Start with encouraging books like that give you specific tips on what you can do to help your child. It will make you feel so much better. You'll feel more in control. You will feel relieved at some of the stories in the books and all the different outcomes that there can be that maybe you're having trouble envisioning now. I recommend even going on Google Scholar, or if you have access to a university library or a library in your area, and reading all the current research too. Just the more that you can read, I think is best for you and your child, because you're going to learn about different strategies, and that's very helpful. The seventh step is to attend conferences on special needs, autism, whatever your child's diagnosis is if you can. They have these in person and they also offer them virtually. So just, again, it's all about getting as much information as you can. Some of these conferences are completely free and others have scholarship programs. So if you're interested in a conference but you can't afford the registration fees, reach out to the coordinator, and sometimes there are options available to you there as well. The last and eighth step is to seek support. This is a tough journey. I feel so hopeful and encouraged because, I've been on this journey for 5 years now, and I have a professional background in this, but there are times when I've really needed support, and it's been so important not to isolate myself and to reach out for that help. So family, friends, if you belong to a church, perhaps people in your church, co-workers, but also if you don't have that support in your personal life, you can reach out via Facebook support groups. There are a lot of them, families with special needs in your area. Try that. Otherwise, there are worldwide support groups via Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. There's all kinds of information available to you here on YouTube. I hope that my channel will be a source of support for you, and that's my goal in starting this channel. And there are many other channels that show families of special needs children and families just kind of going through the same journey that we are. My favorite is Fathering Autism. I will link them down below. I love that family. They provide me so much support and encouragement. So just remember, we have so much information available to us now via social media and constant research on this topic that you are not alone and there is hope for your child. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and join our family. I'm going to be taking you along with us via family vlogs, as well as these informative sit-down videos. If you have ideas for videos or questions for me, please put them in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.